Welcome to the Veronica Edwards Show, where we have fun financial conversations that everyone listening can apply to their personal and professional life. I'm your host, Veronica Edwards, CPA, and today we are back, season 6, completely independent and sponsored by my business, Balance Virtually LLC, which provides accounting and consulting services to small business owners. So I always want to thank the V team at the start of the show. We are really growing. Season 5 was our first season on YouTube, and our producer just told me that we had over 10,000 views on our YouTube page. So thank you guys so much. Our next goal is trying to reach 100 YouTube subscribers. So we're halfway there. So if you guys are looking to be a sponsor or a guest or just a loyal listener, like and subscribe to the page, and also head over to balancevirtually.com or veronicaedwards.buzzsprout.com, because we also have the audio version of the show for season 5 and all the prior other seasons. So let's go ahead and jump into today's show. I'm super excited. Today's guest was born in Colombia and raised around the world as a daughter of a U.S. diplomat. She brings a global perspective and a passion for community into everything that she does. From working with leaders like Senator Bob Graham and artist Romero Brito to launching her own outdoor gear company, Run to Run, her journey is one of resilience and innovation. She now calls Batcave, North Carolina home, where her hashtag #BatcaveStrong movement has inspired hope and strength after Hurricane Helene. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my new friend, Miss April Bolet. Hello, April.
Hi, Veronica. Thanks for having me on your show. It's the first time for me, so I'm excited.
Yes, I couldn't think of anybody else that I wanted to start season 6 with. As I was saying in the intro, April, selfishly too, I'm trying to get more likes and subscribers. And April has over 18,000 followers on Facebook. She's a superstar. So, April, is this your first time ever doing like a podcast?
Unintentionally.
Yeah, yes. Is this your first time doing a podcast?
This is my first time doing a podcast. Yes.
Oh, I'm gentle. I'm gentle. So, what I always like to ask first time guests is first tell us about your story. I talked a little bit about how you've traveled the world, but tell us about where you're from and what led you to Western North Carolina and starting your journey to become an entrepreneur with Run to Run.
Yeah, well, like you mentioned, my father was a diplomat, so I was born overseas in Colombia. My dad's area of expertise is Latin America. So, and what his background was the press. So I was around the press and that from a young age. So Latin America, we were in Jamaica, Venezuela. I came to the States when I was 5, went to
Wow.
school, and then I went to Brazil for 4 years. Then I came back to the States for 1 year. Then I went to India. So India was how do I say, not Latin America, obviously.
No.
That was a side, a one-off. And then we came back to the States. I went to my last 2 years of high school, college at George Mason University. My parents went overseas again for their last post. So it's just that I lived overseas most of, my first, 20 something years, and then came to the States. I was in the Virginia area, but then I met who was my children's father, and we moved to Texas. So I was in McAllen, Texas, 4 years, El Paso 4 years, and my triplets were born in El
Wow.
Paso. So I
Yes,
have,
triplets. My first person that I met that actually gave birth to triplets. That's so cool. Shout out to
they
the
were,
triplets.
yep, thank you, Nick, Isabel, and Greg, and they were born in El Paso, Texas. They were premature. They were born at 24 weeks, so that's 6 months.
Oof.
So yeah, it was
Oof.
touch and go. Well, before they were born, after they were born. Then I moved to Florida when they were 2. And then I wasn't working. I started part-time working for Arvamore Parks and Dr. Robert McCabe. So I was both of their assistants, but I was her, how do you call it? She published books. So I was her publisher. I was her editor. So
Oh, nice.
I started, and I'm an English Spanish double major. And I'm bilingual.
Yes. How
So
many languages do you speak?
I speak English, Spanish. I can get by in Portuguese. I can understand it. I can read it. I can speak it with difficulty. I can write some, but not a whole lot anymore.
You're better than
Um,
most of us. That's awesome.
yeah, but I'm able to get by. But with that job, she was a Miami historian. She was an amazing writer. I like reading, so obviously it worked well. And then that was a part-time job, and then it came time I needed a full-time. I really wanted to work full-time. My kids were in kindergarten or first grade. I can't remember.
Girl, I
So
can't
that's
imagine three home
yeah, the
at the same
homework. And in
time.
public
Yes.
schools in Miami, they're separated, meaning they're in three different homeroom. They have three different classes. So luckily they had
Wow.
enough, like kindergarten, first grade.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that led me to work for the well-renowned artist Romero Brito. So he's a pop artist, and so I traveled. My first trip with him was to the White House for the Easter egg roll, and we took a bunny sculpture, and that's when the Jonas Brothers, first I'd ever heard them, sing the national
Who
anthem.
was the president at the time? Was that Bush?
Bush, yes, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
nice. That's so cool. I looked up Romero Brito once I saw your bio and I was like, ooh, he's really cool. I like him.
Yeah, yeah. We took his. He was good friends with Andre Agassi, so we did a big event in Las Vegas.
April, I want your life.
So we did a big event in Las Vegas, and you're talking Lionel Richie was the headliner. I touched his hand when he walked down the when he was singing. He sang, and I
Oh
saw
my
him.
God.
It was cool. That's when Daughtry was a country band that was
Oh,
big
yeah.
off, I think American Idol or one of those. I can't
Yep. He
remember.
won American Idol. Yep.
Right. And then who was the other? Their husband and wife. Oh my goodness, I forgot. Not Big and Rich. Another country star. So those are the kinds of things. So I was the charity's donation manager. So that's why I was traveling the world or the United States
That's
with him.
amazing.
Yeah. And then when I finished with him, I actually went to work for my girlfriend's company. I like, I think my overall I've learned is I like helping people. So then I
Yes.
think what comes naturally from that is sales, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you want to help someone find something that they need and you
Mm-hmm.
provide. So that turns into a sale. So sales for me, I love, but I love helping people. So
Yeah.
then from there, yeah, that's when afterward I worked for Senator Bob Graham. Then I worked for the University, Florida International University, and then I went back to working with my girlfriend. And I think that was the time, 2017 October, is when I'd come to Asheville with my
Nice.
daughter to see Warren Wilson College. And I never would have thought, because I'm a beach girl, I like the sun, I like hot. Something
Yes.
spoke to me in the mountains, and I moved lock, stock, and barrel within 6 months. I was here by May 5th, 2018.
Wow.
So
Welcome, welcome. So you came before COVID, clearly before Helene. And I know that you weren't in Batcave the whole time, right? How long have you been in Batcave?
I moved to Batcave November 2023. I was in Weaverville, which is just north of
Hmm.
Asheville, for 5.5 years.
Wow. Wow. So then what got you into entrepreneurship?
I've always I've always been in it, or somehow my mother was an entrepreneur. My mom had her own companies, as well as when we lived overseas, she managed the commissaries, the restaurants. So I was around that. Like I was doing inventory for her, for the grocery store in Brazil, for the commissary, probably between 8 and 10 years old. She had me doing
Wow.
inventory, like the ordering process, the sheet. So
Which
yeah,
I
I've been
think
around
more
it.
parents should do. Like I think we kind of dumb down kids. It's like, no, no, no. You could do stuff as soon as you can speak.
Yeah, yeah. And so it was, I think she was pivotal in my life. And probably in eighth grade, I knew I wanted to be the boss of my own company. So eighth grade,
Mm.
I distinctly remember I'm going to have my own company.
Oh, at 13. I love it.
Yeah. So it just took several years, in doing,
Yeah.
you pivot left, pivot right. You're
Hmm.
also learning, I think, what you don't like. What I
Yep.
what I know is I don't want to be trapped, stuck behind a laptop all day working at a desk job. That's just not me.
And
Which,
April, it took me 13 years to figure that out. So I'm glad that you you knew that early on, but that's a thing. Like I thought that's the only thing I could do if I did accounting.
yeah, but I knew it early on, but I still worked those desk jobs, right? Because
Right.
that's what
Right.
paid the bills, I guess, or I didn't
Right.
know. So when I moved to Weaverville, I didn't work for anybody. I was kind of trying to figure out what am I going to do. Finding myself is the best way I
Yes.
can
Yes.
describe it. So there were networking groups I was in. I was leaning towards the construction side because that's what I was doing in Florida before I moved. So I
Mm-hmm.
had already opened. I did have another LLC, Steel Connections, but I let that go. It just didn't
Mm-hmm.
speak to me. And then during
Right.
COVID, because I'm a runner, I've always run to some degree, and I've been in all sorts of sports. College, I rode crew for my university. That's probably the best sport I've ever played, not played, that I've been a part of. But running is portable, right? So there was a girlfriend in a health group that I was part of, and she's what's called a streaker. I didn't know what a streaker was. So when
Never
I
heard of
first
it.
yeah. When I first read her post, I was like, this lady wants me to run naked. I'm not running naked.
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
scroll left. And then it was the day before it started. I reread it and I'm like, oh, it means she runs every day. So
Love
she
it.
was coming up on her 1,000th day and asked people in the group to run a mile for 7 days to get her to day 1,000. And I'm like, I can do that easy.
Sure. Yeah.
This lady's running 1,000 days. I can run 7 miles, meaning, one a day. So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
how my streak started May 10th, 2019. So the first streak went 655 days. Then I had a
Wow.
surgery. So then I was out 49 days, meaning I ran again 49 days. And I had another surgery and I ran 140 days. And then I was sick in the wintertime. It was February 2022, I think,
You have
2022.
such a good
I,
memory. I love that you can remember all these dates.
yeah, I was really sick and I came back to my room and I passed out, hit the door jamb, slid down the door jamb, woke up in a puddle of blood because my head hit the plate and it ripped the skin.
Mm.
Luckily, I passed
Uh,
out.
yeah,
Um,
you're a mom. You can do anything. Oh my
and
goodness.
then I got up, cleaned that up, went back to the sink, but I passed out again, and they took out all the glassware on the tub area.
April, I
Luckily,
had
I
no
didn't.
idea.
Yeah. So then that how do I say that hiatus was probably the
Mm-hmm.
hardest one. I went 7 days without running. I wanted to run the very next day. I went to the doctor. My daughter was in the car with me. I drove to the doctor
Crazy
and
woman.
I told my daughter, oh, after the appointment, we're going into Weaverville because I'm going to run a mile really slow with you next to me in case I pass out. And she goes, Mom, if you do that, I'm going to tackle you. So, but the doctor had other plans for me. He said, no running. So now, since that date, so it's my fourth consecutive run streak. Today is 1,324 days. Yes.
Let's go. So I was thinking, and we'll talk a little bit more about it later in the show, that you started doing this because of the storm. You were already a streaker, and now you're using that to talk about the hurricane relief recovery. Got it. Okay, cool.
And it was
So
a easy platform. I don't mean to interrupt.
no, please.
It's my way of documenting the area. So, like the very morning of Helene,
Mm-hmm.
we drove down as far as we could. We were cut off completely from everywhere and everything. No one could get to us. I live in Back Cave off of 74 up a road called Middle Fork Road. There was
Mm-hmm.
only one way in and one way out. And
Wow.
our road was cut off. And then 74 from Asheville or Hendersonville or Chimney Rock or however, no one could get to us.
Mm.
So, yeah, it was a pretty freaky thing up where we were. Our house was fine. The
Right.
area, for the most part, on the top of the mountain was fine, a lot of trees down. But when we went down to the bridge was in place, but the road across the street, asphalt, you're talking asphalt, had slipped into the river.
Whew.
And there was a huge
Whew.
gorge at the end of like where the bridge would be, where the road would
Of
connect.
course. Of
So
course.
we were like, we're in trouble and we're not going anywhere. And no one's
Right.
coming up.
Well, thank goodness you're a Florida girl, so you got your generator. You knew how to
Yeah,
prepare for a hurricane.
I've been through
And we're going to
several.
talk about the power of social media,
Yeah.
and how you were able to get help there. But before we get into that, I would love for you to share how me and you first met
Yeah.
earlier this year, that you were a participant in the financial tools class that I teach from Mountain BizWorks. So tell us about the class, how you heard about it, and what you were trying to get out of it. And of course, what your
Hmm.
impressions of me were.
I guess, I think it was because I did the Mountain BizWorks Foundations class
Hmm.
a few years ago. So back
Okay.
before I even became an LLC, I'd taken that. It may have been in 2020 or 2021. I can't remember the
Okay.
date exactly. So I already knew about Mountain BizWorks, and I'm also a member of Outdoor Business Alliance, which was outdoor gear builders. So Mountain BizWorks has a hand, or they're involved in that as well with different
Hmm.
things. So, of course, Mountain BizWorks, I was told to also participate in there's the next, there's two other, not high points, what is it? There's a few
Is it
other
scale up? Yeah, I can't keep up with all of
scale up. It's the intermediate.
Alpine. Hmm.
There's another one, but so I applied for those, but I'm a new company that doesn't have a lot of information and stuff, so I didn't get those. But I was, online Mountain BizWorks. I needed help with my business because now I'm 1 year on my website. I'm like, how can I get some help? I need to learn about accounting. So I went in
Right.
and then I saw the class. So I signed up for the class Zoom. Um, and I applied for a scholarship. I'm going to be transparent on that.
As
And
you
I was
should. As you should.
I was lucky enough to get the scholarship to take the class, which I'm very thankful for. And it was from there that I'm here now, sort of.
Right.
Ask away. Keep asking.
And so when I was teaching the class, were you like, who is this crazy woman with red glasses talking about all this stuff? What was your experience in the class for those that might be interested in taking it?
Yeah, it was you know, I think I told you probably early on, I'm not a math person. I need to, I
Right.
know that one has to probably stay away from saying negative. It's like I need to learn how to do math better. I try to switch my thinking. So it was a little daunting in the beginning because this is accounting. I took accounting as a business major my freshman year. Freshman year? I think it was my freshman year. And I got a D in it. So I was
I
not
remember
super
you saying that in the class. You were like, look, that was like your first things in the class. I'm like, you're going to be a pro after this, April. It's going to
the
be fine.
credits and
And you,
debits, it's like backward. I was like, I don't, okay, I don't. But now as an
yeah,
adult, it makes more sense. So when
sure.
your class, or yeah, with your class, it was super helpful. I learned, I still had questions, but you answered everything. And in terms of how you were, I like that. I want someone that's going to be excited to be in the class with students. I love your, everything. I'm a bright colored person, as you can see. And if
I
you,
love it.
on my on all my platforms, I'm typically in bright colors. I'm not
Yes.
super
I
math.
have one of your visors right here, and I love this color.
I have like
Well,
12 colors.
I so appreciate your honesty and your vulnerability, because I tell business owners, nobody knows this stuff. We don't come out the womb knowing accounting. Someone had to teach us, we had to learn it. So I just appreciate you taking the time to take these classes. And for those listening, you can get a scholarship, like you said. And I want to say the full price of those classes are under $100. So for those
Right.
listening, a little ad for Mountain BizWorks. Check out Mountain BizWorks .org. But April, let's talk about your business. Let's talk about Run to Run. So how long have you been in business? What products and services do you provide? And how can people purchase this
Yes.
amazing
I
product?
should have had one
Try to
with me. I don't
show
know why
my
I
Run
in the
to Run
car.
gear. Hmm.
So I looked up, I think got my LLC in 2021, but I really didn't
Okay.
do much. That's when I was taking the Mountain Biz Works. Then I did SBDTC. And then that's how I found a pattern maker with SoCo. And it was there that the pattern maker said, "Oh, I also teach at Carolina Textile District." I think it's in Conover. At any rate, I went to that 2 day. It was an amazing thing. I learned that I had the wrong fabric day one. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
switch fabric. So that's how, my business started. But then I needed to produce it. So the sewing company, Excelsior Sewing, that is owned by Judy Gross, also Lightheart Gear, agreed to manufacture my visor. And she's in Fletcher. That was something important to me, as I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
manufacture in the United States. I did not want to manufacture in China. So
Right.
that there's a cost difference, obviously, with something like that.
Yes.
But
And
my
April,
product
if
is
I can just ask you, what made you want to make visors to begin with? We know that you're a streaker. We know that you've been running and walking for some time, but what was it? What's about your visor that makes it different?
it's the comfort. So as you hold it up, it stretches. It's like a headband with a brim. It's poly spandex, so it wicks the sweat. So that means you're not
It is
having sweat
really
running down
soft.
your face. And then the brim is plastic, so you can throw it in the wash there. And it
Doing my
has
Vanna
reflective
Black.
properties. Some people
I
need it,
love
some people.
it.
So,
Yeah.
but I developed it, and then I went live on the website June of 2024. Then we got hit with Helene, so everything just kind of came to a standstill,
Right.
and then kind of started picking back up. I don't know if I got a first order, maybe October, November. I'd have to look back.
Okay.
And then really picked up since then. So I go to races. So I sponsored Just Running has the Flying Squirrel race. That was June 1st. Or was it my birthday? I can't remember now. But around that time. So that's the second year I sponsored it. And actually we did a like private label with the Flying Squirrel logo on the side. So that was cool. And then
Yeah.
what else? So just different races. IDAF. So Daphne has several races, and I attend a lot of hers. My next one coming up is September 27th. That'll be in Greenville, South Carolina, the Ville de Ville Relay. So I'll be
Nice.
there for that, and then back in October for the what is it, Black Bear in Hendersonville. And then probably I'll do an Oktoberfest. And in between that, you can find me at Lord Market in Lake Lure on Saturdays, because they're kind enough, I'll give them a shout out. They're kind enough to have vendors in. And so it's multiple different vendors at the market, and you can go across the street. There's music, there's food. You're supporting local. I'm local.
Yes.
We happen to be in
Yes.
Back Cave. The only thing I ask is everybody follow the DOT road close signs,
Yes.
please.
Please, please. And then
What
you
else on my list?
mentioned, yes, you got a lot of stuff going on for the fall. So for those, since we have thousands of viewers now, April,
Yeah.
if they're not here in this area, can we purchase your visors online? Is there a way
Yes.
that we can support you? Can you please share that?
So the website is runtorungear.com.
Okay.
And then, like you'd mentioned, the reason my Facebook page was private until Helene. I made it public in order to get the word out because we were
Mm-hmm.
trapped. I didn't know how else. I mean, I couldn't physically go anywhere to help or do anything. So my best tool was, I know a lot of people from all the places I've lived, worked, and it was one particular classmate that actually reached out to me, and he sent in Grable Rescue, which actually they rescue Americans, foreigners from foreign countries from behind the
Oh my
plane.
gosh. Let's shout out this friend. Can we shout out his first and last
No,
name?
I can't.
Thank you, friend. Thank
Yeah.
you. Because if it wasn't for that friend and social media, how
Yeah.
long would it have been? Oh my goodness.
I'm not sure. I mean, we had so many people come up, but that NGO, non governmental organization, came up, and I can share, Crystal is her name, that came from Florida, right near where we live as well. So I live both here and in Florida. But at any rate, she
Hmm.
came up on those creepy crawly things. You couldn't read. You had to go over the mountaintop on creepy crawly things, and she brought us supplies. that
Oh
way.
my
Like I said,
goodness.
she's not the
But did
only
it take
one.
about 10, 11 days before anybody can even get
That
to you
was
to bring
day
supplies?
10 when she came in. She came in on the same day that we finally got off the mountain. We got Nicholas, my son, who lived with me, off the mountain that day. That was a pretty,
Wow.
yeah, harrowing experience. But we passed her then as we were coming back up the path. She was coming down with her crew. So I have a photo with their flag and all that. It was a cool moment. You hug people like that because it's someone that came
Yes.
help you
Yes.
and your community. It wasn't for me. What she brought was resources that got dropped off at the Batcave Fire Department volunteer person who lives on our mountain. So that person is Isaac Guffey. He lives right up the street from me. So he was the only one on the top of the mountain. Then there was a couple in the middle of the mountain. There was no one on the south side. Most people were airlifted off our mountain. We stayed.
Right.
Boyfriend
But
got
one thing
stuck
I
in.
want to add to April is a lot of people don't realize then it started raining some months later. Then there's the mudslides. Like people
Yeah.
don't realize, like they're just like, oh, it's been almost a year. You guys are good in Western North Carolina. We're like, no, like I-40 just shut down not too long ago
Yeah.
because of the land just giving away. And I know that you mentioned to me, April, because I coach April now, that there's
Yes.
times that from 9 to 4, you can't leave
Yes.
or come back into the area. So it's still a lot going on. So I definitely want to know, April, can people purchase these shirts? Is there a way that we can continue to
Yes.
support Bat Cave Strong?
So Batcave Strong shirts are available on my website, the runtorungear.com. And, I'll just mail them out to you. They do support three entities. So it's Batcave Fire Department, Jake Jarvis, and Precision Grading. He was the first one to get in the Batcave on October 3rd. And he just recently posted some of those photos. He had
Wow.
to, I believe he also freed our chief of the firemen, Chief Freeman. He was trapped, or couldn't get out. And he's the first one that got up Middle Fork Road, and he couldn't go on the first switchback because our switchback turned into a waterfall. So he had to carve a detour road through someone's property to get up to the road on another section.
Yo, this was the Hunger
So yeah,
Games.
so
When you were telling me the things, I was just like, what?
yeah. So it supports the Batcave Fire Department, Jake Jarvis Precision Grading, because he does all his work for free, and then Batcave Disaster Relief as well. They're another local group helping. That's what's really left at the moment. Spokes of Hope is in town, but they were more recent, and they're Chimney Rock. They do Batcave. They do a little bit of everything, but those are the three entities that I choose to. So a portion of the proceeds will go to them as well.
That's wonderful. Well, April, we're already to the end of the show. I told you it would fly by, but thank you so much for coming here, sharing your wisdom, your resilience. Bat Cave Strong movement is a movement. You have almost 20,000 followers because of that. And we definitely want to support runtorungear.com. And like you said, you're going to be, again, Greenville, South Carolina, September. You'll be in Hendersonville,
Hendersonville.
and we can follow you because you're this huge social media sensation. So we can see all the places you're walking to and keeping us abreast on everything. So again, thank you so much. I would love to have you back. So once you hit 1 year, because is it September 25th, 26th, or 27th? I can't remember the
27th.
dates.
So on that day, that's when I'll be in Greenville for that race, because that was the race that was supposed to take place last year that obviously didn't because Helene
Right.
hit. So they are doing it on that date this year. So that's where I'll be in South Carolina on that specific date. I'll obviously be videotaping. And then just for you and everyone, the Facebook page is my first name, April Avenius, Avenius, Bolet, Bolet. The business Facebook is Run to Run Gear at, Facebook. And then my Instagram is Run to Run Gear, all, smushed together. So it's pretty
Yes, and
simple.
we'll make sure what they say in the magic, we'll make sure it's below and in
Okay.
all the details. But thank you so much, April, for making
Thank
time. And I
you.
want to thank the V team and everybody tuning into the Veronica Edwards Show here on YouTube and also continuing to listen on Buzzsprout. So again, if you want to catch this episode and past episodes, you can go to veronicaedwards.buzzsprout.com. And until next time, stay balanced and financially savvy.